I know the camera, you can only see me, but if this were to turn around 180, you would see a scoundrel. You would see a slimy sack of shit who is trying to force people to say things that...
Come on, man. Let's not get in the name call. It's a legitimate question. So we're here with Bowden Night in Lincoln, Nebraska on a Friday night. It's Cornhusker football night, kind of screwed up, right? Us old-timers were used to having things on Saturdays. And unfortunately, it sounds like I hear the Cornhuskers lost in overtime to Illinois, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't come through with the victory. As you said, the old-timers are probably used to something like that. But despite losing, here I stand, go Big Red.
All right, there we go. We'll get started here. So we're talking about the 2024 U.S. presidential election. I'm going to have you watch a video from the Lincoln Project about Vice President nominee Tim Walz. And the video is called Coach. I'm going to have you watch it, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Of course.
Welcome the next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz.
When Vice President and I talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions, for our children to be free to go to school without worrying they'll be shot dead in their classrooms. A place where we settle our political differences not through violence, but with our votes. For education to be that ticket to the middle class, not crippling debt. Air that's clean, water that's pure, communities that are safe. If Trump gets a chance to return, he's going to pick up exactly where he left off 4 years ago. Only this time, it will be much, much worse. We aren't going back. We just got to fight. Because as soon-to-be President Harris says, when we fight, we win.
So, Bo, what's your reaction to the video?
My reaction to the video is I think Tim Walz is a good guy. I do know he's Omaha, Nebraska native. And he's done good things in Minnesota. How's it going, brother?
I love you, man. Love you. Be safe.
What's up?
Bo Simone! Fucking right in the pussy! Whoa, no!
As I said, I do think Tim Walz is a great guy. I do know he did good things in Minnesota and is an Omaha, Nebraska native. However, my reaction from that video is, in terms of the upcoming election in November, I think the video is very unfounded and it doesn't present enough evidence for, to convince me to vote for Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, because I think that in this country we have bigger problems than clean air and clean water. I think we need safer borders. I think we need more police, and I think we need a strong economy.
Okay.
That's all I got for you.
That's all you got for me?
How'd I do?
Can I have a follow-up question?
Yeah, did I roll it up and smoke it? Or?
So, your top priority, it sounds like, is immigration, correct? So let me ask this. There was a bipartisan bill, right, that President Biden was ready to sign that would have included an extra 1,500 border guards, right? Bipartisan, I want to stress, right? So a lot of Republicans wanted this too. And like anything, it wasn't perfect, but it would have been a good step forward.
Of course.
And Trump said, don't vote for it, shoot it down. And so because everybody, when he says jump, people ask how high, they did. So and this is a legitimate question, so what do you think about that? Because there was an opportunity to fix things now or to improve things.
100%, yeah, and I understand the question, but I do think the question was geared to bait me a little bit towards saying the wrong thing. I think that question is, I think that question did try to bait me. Regardless of the bipartisan bill that Joe Biden said he would, of course, sign, the question that a lot of Americans have is, why haven't they done anything? Why has nothing, been about it? And it has nothing to do with what Trump, told the people. The people that are in charge, they did nothing. And that's why the people here in Nebraska are sick of the shit, you know what I mean?
Well, so let me ask this to clarify. I mean, without having the bill in front of us to look at the specifics, I mean, I can't.
Right, and as you said, any step in the right direction, it's hard in general in politics to make any progress because of the two-party system. We know that. And as you said, without having the bill in front of us, it is difficult to.
But just to clarify,
not a perfect bill.
Should Republicans in the Senate and Congress have stood up and said, "Thank you, Mr. Trump, but you know what? We feel that this is something that will help people and help the country now," or should they have done what they did and just said, no, because Trump doesn't want us to put it into.
No, because honestly, I think the reason why that bill was even presented in the first place was to cover the ass of the Biden administration. They have done a horrible job on the matter, and of course they're gonna, throw as much shit as they can at the wall to make it seem like they're doing something, and then just so conveniently, Trump tells, the rest of Congress to not support the bill, which is, from an outsider's perspective, peculiar. It's quite curious.
You realize why he did that, right?
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. Because that's the bipartisan system. So are you asking me questions, or are you leading me toward down a path to fit your agenda as well? That's my question to you.
I don't have an agenda.
You clearly have an agenda. You set a camera up here in Lincoln, Nebraska to push your liberal views against the people in Lincoln. Whoa. You don't think so?
No, I'm asking you questions about what happened and what you think, right?
And then I answered those questions.
Okay,
and
but
I answered those questions, and you're trying to beat a dead horse and force it against me.
Okay, all right. So I'm just pointing out that if immigration is the most important point to you, there was an opportunity for Congress to do something before the election, and
you're going to blame that on Trump, even though he's not in office. Of course you would. That's something someone like you would do.
Who am I?
Someone who sits behind an iPad interviewing people about their opinions, trying to gear them towards a specific response. That's exactly the type of person you are.
So, but
behind the camera, I know the camera, you can only see me, but if this were to turn around 180, you would see a scoundrel. You would see a slimy sack of shit who is trying to force people to say things that.
Come on, man. Let's not get in the name. It's a legitimate question.
I answered a question, and here you told me to get back in front of the camera, and I told the camera how I feel.
Okay.
And you're still trying to get more responses out of me.
All right. So
are you done?
I think you are, right? I think you've answered my questions.
I've answered your question. Do you have any more?
No, we're good.
All right.
Thank you very much, Bo.
Yeah.
What? Would you like to do an interview?
Yeah.